So the credit card game is changing constantly with new cards entering the market, cards getting refreshed for their costs and benefits, and even entire airlines changing how they work and then what their credit cards will do for you. Even if you're someone who travels frequently, this can all be very challenging to track. And if you're someone who just travels only a few times a year, good luck. All this movement can be downright confusing, and that's why so many people have no idea how to pick the right airline cards for a strategy that works for them. That's why in today's video, I'm going to show you the step-by-step framework to level up your credit card strategy with airline credit cards, no matter where you're at. This is going to be a good one, so let's jump right on in. So airline cards can really break one of two ways. They can be really powerful and completely transform your experience traveling on an airline, the upgrades you get, experiences, everything like that, and make it much better. Or it can break the other way, and because they're so confusing and airlines are so different in what may be the right fit for you, really get you stuck in a situation with the wrong card that doesn't feel good at all. I don't want the second path to happen to you. So I've simplified all my years of credit card knowledge into a 4-step framework to help you pick the best airline credit card for your situation, whether you're an expert or whether you're someone just getting started. I'm going to talk about how to get started, to putting together your airline card roadmap, to talking about synergy, which a lot of people skip on this topic, and then finish with some warnings and things to know before jumping right in on that card that you've been eyeing. Let's start with what I want to call step 0, which is simply a reminder before we get to the good stuff. However, I know that people from all different backgrounds and levels of experiences in credit cards watch this channel, and step 0 is just the warning not to let an airline credit card be the only thing you rely on in your wallet. I'll never recommend even considering an airline card unless you've got 1 to 2 other good solid credit cards that you're experienced with and that are actually your main cards that you spend on. This is because airline cards generally don't earn good rewards. They're great with benefits, but putting a lot of dollars that you normally spend onto an airline card is normally a very bad way to spend your money. With airline cards, you're probably going to earn way less per dollar spent than you would on a general cashback credit card or another travel credit card from a big bank. Think of it this way. Make sure you get a good catch-all credit card. Credit card setups are like a cupcake, where a catch-all credit card is the cupcake, that's the core, and that's the main thing you want to keep going back to, whereas airline credit cards are like icing on the cake. They're fun, they're the extra benefits. If you reverse them, you're going to have something that doesn't really work out quite as well. So now that I put that qualifier out there, let's jump into step 1. And this is something that so many people get wrong. They're often watching YouTube videos, reading blogs, and looking up point comparison and benefit comparisons to find that perfect card, when really, they've actually gotten off to the wrong approach. The best method to make sure you're in the right ballpark when selecting that card you want is to first analyze your home airport. Think about it. Airlines are unique and really location dependent. Some airlines will just absolutely dominate at different airports, whereas the same airline may hardly fly in and out of a completely different airport. If you pick an airline card without analyzing your home airport, which is the closest airport to you today, which you'll make most of your flights from, well, you're either going to force it and overpay for flights with little availability in the routes you want to travel to, or you'll be stuck with a credit card that you hardly get to use because you're constantly flying other airlines. Neither of those are going to be good fits for your wallet. Here's how to analyze your airport. It's actually really simple. I want you to Google first inserting the city of your home airport, airline market share. What'll come up oftentimes is an AI answer, which maybe will do it for you, but Wikipedia is actually an incredible resource to figure out which airlines dominate the airport that you fly out of. In Kansas City, which is my home airport, I can look at the airline market share and see that it almost makes no sense to get a United Airlines card, no matter how good that lineup may be, when I come in and out of Kansas City. In other airports, like Milwaukee, for example, you'll see 1 or 2 airlines that totally dominate most of the flights. That's going to help you narrow it down and then really focus in on those specific 2. For example, in Milwaukee, I'd either choose between Southwest and Delta. Everything else, it's not even worth my time to research, watch all the videos, find the comparisons. Those aren't going to be a beneficial card to add to my setup. This gives you hard data. It's not just a feeling or remembering what airlines you flew in and out in the past. It's a real number or numbers which are going to give you the confidence to know you're targeting the right credit cards. Now, that was just the starting point. I hope you're able to at least eliminate some credit cards so you don't spend and waste time looking at all of those benefits that aren't going to be useful. Now let's start talking about the actual cards themselves. Where do you start? What's the best value? What about those premium cards and statuses? I'm going to cover that right now. Choosing your best airline card options. I like to break airline credit cards uniquely, even compared to all other different types of credit cards, down into credit card archetypes. Like anything else, each brand has a style. I'll break down what I've seen, and you can use this as a starting point to see if it vibes with how you like to travel. Now remember, these are just general trends, but this is what I've seen from my time in the credit card game. With the American Airlines lineup of credit cards, you're getting pretty straightforward, no frills card options. Miles on American Airlines that you earn either through spending or sign-up bonuses are really, really valuable. However, on the negative side, those sign-up bonuses are pretty meh. You're never going to be blown out of the water with an American Airlines credit card offer. Delta. This is my personal favorite airline to fly if I had to pick one, but I'm not too much of an airline snob myself. With Delta cards, you're going to get big value in terms of credits. The cards are a little bit more expensive than their competitors, but some of this on the high end for their top two cards are made up with the ability to get a companion certificate, basically a buy one, get one free. On the negative, like I said, these are cards with higher annual fees, and they're becoming more lifestyle cards where you've got to spend in a few different ways to get your money's worth back. Maybe not just with Delta Airlines. For Southwest, you're going to get high sign-up bonuses in comparison to low annual fees. You also have the option to earn enough points to get a companion certificate for an entire year plus. On the downside, Southwest cards have little value after the sign-up bonus. The perks aren't great, the multipliers aren't great. These really aren't great cards to hold for a super long term. United has 4 different credit card tiers. That's nice because no matter how enthusiastic you are about flying United, there's probably a good value spot for you. United's really good with their lounge access. Even with a lower tier card, you can still get yourself some lounge passes. On the other side, these are also becoming lifestyle cards, and because of that, they're being filled with hard to use credits. For Alaska, most of us aren't as focused on this airline, but they have a good value companion ticket, and the negative is, of course, the limited route network, which is why I don't talk a ton about Alaska Airlines. Now, this still isn't helping you pick that first card, but what we've done so far is we've narrowed down all of the different options for you to look at. And now you've learned about credit card trends, what different brands bring to the table, and what may sound appealing to you so far. However, I want to get you closer to picking that first card. And the way to feel confident that you're knowing you're getting a great deal is to rely on someone who's got a ton of experience looking at these different cards. I can tell you that all airline credit cards really fit into one of 3 categories. There's one that has a ton of value, another that's a fun option, and another category that's completely something you want to avoid. The avoidable category is what I call baseline cards. These are the $0 annual fee credit cards offered by these airlines to really tempt you to just get on board with them to start. These cards are honestly garbage. They're low sign-up bonuses, don't offer good points multipliers, and really have no benefits. An example I always like to reference is the Delta SkyMiles Blue, which really embodies all the things I just said. The point that 90% of people will want to start their airline journey in is going to be the mid-tier. The mid-tier are cards priced between $99 and $250 for their annual fee. I like to say you get 80% of the value found on one of those premium cards, but you're paying something like 1/5 of the price to hold that. We'll talk about the premium cards in just a second. I'll answer what the real deal with these are. These cards are priced at over $500, so I hardly ever recommend, for a number of different reasons, that someone start with a premium airline credit card. Why do I say the mid-tier is so great? What's up with that 80% of the value? What's really found in a good mid-tier airline credit card? Well, what you're looking for are they all pretty much come with free checked bags, but often most of these cards come with a free checked bag for you and the first free checked bag for up to 8 people on your reservation. Now, the value of a checked bag domestically is between $30 and $40 flying one way. So if you're paying $99 for a credit card and you're getting a free checked bag for yourself on a round trip, well, the price you're paying to hold that card is pretty much washed away with just traveling once and checking one bag. Now, if you start to add other people on your reservation, or you travel more than just one time a year, well, you're already getting more out of that mid-tier card than you're actually paying to hold. The next most beneficial aspect of these mid-tier cards that I found is the priority boarding status. This is advanced boarding, which basically puts you above non-credit card holders and above non-status passengers. It's not going to get you to the front of the line. You're not paying for that sort of premium perk. However, it's certainly going to be enough that you're not forced to check your bag and then go to the bag carousel and delay the end of your trip by 15 to 30 minutes, waiting on that whole process to play out. It's just enough time to get seated comfortably, make sure you've got a spot for your bag, and I think it's a really underrated benefit that you'll start to enjoy once you have it. I also like to call out 3 other benefits here. One, a lot of these cards come with TSA PreCheck. It's essentially a shortcut for the security line, and depending on your home airport, that could be a big deal, or it could be a benefit that doesn't provide that much more marginal gain. I also like to call out the sign-up bonus multiplier that these cards have. Usually for just $99 to $250, you're able to get sign-up bonuses that are worth anywhere between $700 to about $1,000 worth in free flights in value. By the way, I want to mention that if any of these airline cards catch your eye as the right fit for your setup, applying through the link in the description is a free way to help and benefit the channel and the content I put out every single week. Now, the bottom line on a mid-tier credit card is the value's really strong, the annual fees are really reasonable, and the cards almost always pay for themselves. However, it's hard to resist airline credit cards at the very top. So let's talk for a few minutes about premium airline credit cards. If you've gone through the mid-tier journey or just want to see what is the next step and the next level up that ladder, well, I'm going to dish the dirt on what's really worth it and what's really not with these exclusive credit cards at the top of the airline food chain. So when we talk about a premium airline credit card, it's the airline credit cards over $500. You have to ask yourself this question: are you willing to spend $500 upfront to hold a credit card from an airline? Well, I'm going to give you my opinion on this. First, I see really 3 core reasons to get a premium airline credit card. And the biggest one is probably far and away the one that most people jump into these type of cards for. If you value airport lounge access, and I should probably say premium airport lounge access, you may consider paying for a premium airline credit card. The main value prop of this is if you are truly a frequent traveler. You're also a solo or a business traveler where you're going out by yourself and you're not bringing people with you, because airport lounges, even if you've got these premium cards, are very difficult to work with if you're bringing multiple people inside. Or you run the numbers and you really think you could save big with the amount of food or drinks you typically get in a general airport area. Well, those are going to be all free and all great options in an airport lounge. If that value weighs in getting the airline credit card up front and paying for that, well, you're going to be making that up on the back end with all the free food and all the free drinks you'll get when you're traveling. Number 2, the second biggest reason people consider a premium airline credit card is they need more airline miles. Airline miles are a little difficult to come by once those sign-up bonuses go away. That's because all these cards have such bad spending multipliers, and most people don't like to put a ton of spend on their airline credit card. Well, when that account drains to zero and you need another massive bump of value, one of the best places to look for this bump in value is the sign-up bonus on another top-tier credit card from that same airline. For many people, they'll churn their way up an airline credit card ladder. And the general strategy for this is to hold your current card for at least a year. Apply for a new credit card and get that elevated sign-up bonus. Then downgrade your old card to a $0 annual fee card and really ignore it and just sock drawer it from there. Finally, the last reason that I see that you may jump and look at a premium credit card is if you are truly chasing that elite airline status. Now, I want to warn you, unless you're a true top flyer, like you are flying constantly, elite airline status for us mere mortals is probably going to be something that's just a pipe dream. It is really hard to achieve these days, even with premium credit cards. They will help you some, but they're not going to be a replacement for flying 30 or 40 times a year. However, these premium travel credit cards, they do offer taking a percentage of your spending on those cards and converting it into what you need to earn the next level of status. Again, you have to spend a ton on them, so it's not going to be worth it for a lot of people. But if you do want some of those premium perks with your airline of choice, well, it makes sense to opt into that premium card and help get you there a little quicker. All right, now a lot of you are going to be equipped with what you need to go out, find that right airline, know that you're starting with a good mid-tier credit card and you're not going to get ripped off, with maybe the opportunity one day to reach for the top of the ladder and grab yourself a premium airline credit card. However, if you really want to nail this setup and get everything right, let's talk about the back-end synergy in building out your wallet so you're really happy with everything you've done. What you need to know is that credit card issuers have unique partnerships that make them exclusive to having deals with certain airlines. For example, Chase has specific partnerships with United, Southwest, and JetBlue. American Express partners exclusively with Delta Airlines, and they also work with JetBlue. Citi works with American and JetBlue, and Capital One works with JetBlue, and these are all the domestic US partnerships. If you want a full guide, including the international ones, well, I have that created for you in a transfer partner guide that can be found for free at my website, rdguarantee.com/guides. What these partnerships mean is that you can get any travel credit card with one of those big issuers, and you'll be able to earn points with that big issuer that at any time can be transferred over to your loyalty account with that specific partner airline. For example, the Chase Ultimate Rewards points that you earn can be spent through Chase in their rewards platform, but it can also be sent to United, JetBlue, and Southwest. What this means is this can be an overpowered synergy in your wallet. That's because Chase cards, American Express, Citi, and Capital One cards earn in general way more than an airline credit card specifically from that airline. What a lot of people like to do is get an airline card and not spend on it. They'll just use it only for those perks and benefits. But what they will do is they'll get credit cards from their issuer with the partner that goes directly to the airline that they want to fly with. They'll spend on all of those partner cards, accumulate a bunch of points, and then send them over for their redemptions and bookings. This can be a simple way to make sure you're getting the most from your spend, but also enjoying the most when you travel. Now, I've got 3 warnings for you before I leave, because this all sounds really simple and really great, but these are the 3 biggest traps I want you to watch out for that I see people falling into all the time. First, be careful. Your value on airline credit cards is locked into one single airline. This is pretty self-explanatory, which is why I always recommend making sure you're building out your wallet with tons of synergy. Number 2, don't overrate the benefits the airline credit cards are giving you. Free check bags are great. Priority boarding is awesome. Pre-check status, all of these things are really good. Will it make your experience more enjoyable? The answer is probably absolutely yes. However, everything comes with a price. Be realistic for how much you value this, not what I'm telling you online or what your friend is doing with their different travel habits and plans. You really have to look at yourself because this is the card that you're going to be stuck with. Finally, number 3, take value from the banks, not the other way around. Too many people end up in the second bucket because they picked the wrong card, didn't follow this framework, or they just get lazy and kind of forget their plan going in. I want you to be in the first bucket. And then finally, my last tip would be consider you don't even need an airline credit card. You may just be better off with a transferable currency card from a big bank that I talked about earlier. Those are great too, and they may not have as many of the benefits, but they may benefit you in a more well-rounded way than going with a specific airline card. Now, all in all, I hope you feel like you're in a really good place. It's a fun journey and you're prepared for success. That's because in conclusion, we learned how to analyze the airport and figure out which brands of airlines are going to be the best to start your airline credit card search in. We learned that mid-tier cards are the best first credit cards to get. Don't get the premium ones and don't get the $0 annual fee ones to start. The premium ones can come later on. We talked about synergy and filling your other card slots in your wallet with different credit cards that will earn points that can be sent over to your favorite airline and your favorite airline credit card. And finally, we covered a few big pitfalls that people often run into. If you follow this, you'll be way ahead of pretty much everybody else. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. It helps spread this knowledge to other people in the same situation. And thank you so much for watching.